Welcome back to my channel. Last video, I showed how Mickey Mouse just couldn't accept how people rated the appearance of the Filipina P, even though 88% of voters on his own poll on his own channel rated P higher than Mykkie did, and 82% rated her at least 2 levels higher. Mykkie actually removed the top 35% of votes and lowered the remaining top 31 to 40% of votes 2 levels, just so he could declare his ridiculous score was normal. Yet even after all that, he was still well off the resulting average. While that was quite amazing, I have even more nonsensical claims by Mykkie on the same subject. But first, Mykkie says this, talking about me.
He admits himself it can take him days to put a video together.
I admit it can take me days? Is Mykkie trying to imply I'm admitting to something that isn't good? It sure seems to be his insinuation. Why else even mention it? What is wrong with taking days to create a video? Mykkie doesn't say. He just needs that insinuation to stick in the heads of his supporters. Mykkie immediately followed that statement with this one.
Because he has to go through these things, the process, get a few here to make his wordings make sense, right? He's doing the fake news aspect of things.
What the heck is he talking about? These things? I certainly do have a process, so? And shouldn't anyone try to make their words make sense? Except for Mykkie, of course. Did any of his supporters pay attention to how ridiculous his statement was? But the last part is what trolls do when they have reached rock bottom and are starting to dig. He actually describes these things he says I do as doing the fake news aspect of things. So, let's see. If I take days and do things and have a process and have my words make sense, that means it is fake news? That's just insane. It's also a tactic. Like when people call someone a racist, hoping just using that word they'll get people to believe it, even when there was no racism. Oh, wait, Mykkie has done that very thing. I'll have to cover that in an upcoming video. Anyway, Mykkie just throws out the fake news term for effect, even though nothing he said supports it, just like those who make bogus claims of racism. Next, I'll show how Mykkie makes claims that criticize me and then turns around and contradicts himself. Like when I said, most people agree that women are less focused on physical appearance than men are. This was Mykkie's response.
Bullshit! Bullshit!
I'm pretty sure Mykkie is disagreeing with me. Just one little problem. Mykkie then started giving specifics on his views, which completely contradicted his claim that it was BS. Let's watch.
But less in physical appearance, because one thing that a lot of women require from men is to be a provider, to be a protector. So they actually do look at that as an important thing for them as well. Hence, what we talked about early on today. Sometimes you may be ugly, but if you can provide really good, doesn't matter. It outweighs it.
Doesn't that support what I said? If women are looking at a man to be a provider and protector, and if you can be a really good provider, then being ugly is outweighed by being a good provider, which means, surprise, that women are less focused on physical appearance. Thanks, Mykkie. But there's more. A comment on his live stream said, ugly plus wealthy equals handsome. Mykkie's response to that was,
And that's what happens. That truly happens a lot. Why? Because they have so much rating scales that they can cancel things out, right? You sure can be a provider. If you can be a provider, I can reduce the look scale.
wow, I'm pretty sure if the look scale can be reduced, it means physical appearance doesn't mean as much to women as it does to men. It's amazing how often Mykkie's statements agree with me, yet he called it BS. Maybe Mykkie should do what I do and take more time and make an effort to have his words make sense. So far, he's just demonstrating that live streams aren't always the best approach. But there is more. Mykkie read a post from a commenter named Ruby, who I believe is a Filipina, and responded.
Experts who believe that age gap relationships in the Philippines doesn't matter are dreaming. General population of Filipinos would not agree to that. In general, yes. So then that's what you have to really look at and understand that they are more looking at you as a provider. And that's why they fell in love with you, because you can provide. And they let go of the age so this is where people need to have that understanding. That doesn't mean that they won't fall in love with you, but they were never attracted to you. By far average.
Once again, all of that supports my point, which Mykkie called BS. Physical appearance is less important to the Filipina. I don't think Mykkie even realized his statements were supporting me. He just had this knee-jerk reaction that he had to disagree. Believe it or not, there is much more. I criticized Mykkie's attitude by saying this. So-called men seem to have this need to criticize a woman's appearance for no reason. This will, of course, include the silliness where the same men insist their standard is the only really good one. Note Mykkie's response.
Now, just to let you know, I don't say that my ratings, my standards, is the only one. I would never say that.
Before you think this means I made a false claim, note that Mykkie dodged my context again. Sure, he may allow other standards, mostly because he can't stop them anyway, but he still acts like his standard is the only good one. Those words matter to my context. Let me demonstrate. Remember Mykkie's own poll I talked about last week. Recall that 82% rated P a 5 or better, which is 2 or more levels higher than Mykkie did. People had different standards. There are actually 3 kinds of standards. We have the terminology, the order of the terms, and the placement of people on such a list. Mykkie's standard is, for example, that pretty is higher than cute. My view would be different. I consider pretty and cute to be essentially the same level. Just 2 different ways I may find someone attractive, but one not necessarily being more attractive than the other. Mykkie only allows for rating according to someone's face. I would, at the very least, include their body, but also other things such as how they move and how they interact with others. Some people included personality, just different standards. And of course, there's the issue of where people are placed on the scale. Mykkie said P is a 3, though he's also said she is a 1, 2, and 2.5. Obviously, Mykkie insists his standard is the only good one, just as I said, because otherwise he wouldn't have eliminated or lowered the top 66 to 75% of votes on his own poll, declaring they were mistakes.
But stop thinking that she's a 7 or a 6 or a 9 or a 10. How the hell can a man give her a 10?
Better question is, how can Mykkie justify his 3 when 88% rate her higher? Remember, this poll was on his channel where he would get the most support for his opinion. Note that, just as on his poll, Mykkie has ruled out everything from 6 or higher. So he is insisting only his standard is good. He isn't using those exact words, but it is how he is behaving. How about this?
We put the markers in there, right? 6 is cute, 7 is pretty, 8 is beautiful, 9 is gorgeous, 10 is perfect.
By we, he clearly is referring to himself, but acting like everyone agrees. I guess he's using the royal we, but once again, insisting on just his standard. Let's look at more examples of Mykkie trashing other standards.
And everyone understands that if somebody measures the P a 9 or a 10, they are delusional.
Pretty sure calling it delusional means Mykkie still thinks only his standard is good. He also has a strange definition of everyone. I mean, he rated P as a 3, even though that's lower than 88% of his own poll. Here's Mykkie getting more extreme.
There's a lot of men that think she's hot and she's not. A lot of guys tell me that the P is a 9, the P is an 8, the P is a 10. And I'm talking about looks-wise. And if you compare it to other Filipinas and you compare it to other women in the world, she's nothing but a 1 by looks.
Mykkie actually admits that lots of men give P high ratings, But since he insists upon just his own standard, even when he is a tiny minority, he just declares they are wrong. He doesn't say something like, well, my preferences are. No, everything just has to be his standard. Here's another example of Mykkie's disregard of other standards.
This grand delusion that they have, not delusion of grandeur, grand delusion that they have in regards to changing the aspects, changing the mindset, changing, on what beauty is.
So if you disagree with Mykkie, you're guilty of changing what beauty is, or to put it more accurately, you are failing to agree with what Mykkie claims beauty is, because he insists upon his standard as the only good one. We have more insight into Mykkie from the comment section, like this comment from Mykkie to a statement by Jeff.
I just don't believe men are so obscured as they give her a perfect 10 or even 9. Heck, I understand if they give her a 7, but 9 to 10? No way.
Sounds more logical than rating P as nothing but a 1. Let's see. On Mykkie's poll, that got a massive 3% of the vote. In this next comment, Mykkie changes P's rating yet again as he disregards another person's standard.
Ha ha ha. No, you obsessed, LOL, for something that looks like 2.5 out of 10. Ha ha.
Mykkie's low ratings have been 1, 2, 2.5, and 3. But all of these got very few votes on his own poll. Heck, even combining all of them only earned 12%. Let's quickly show a few more of the things he has said or posted, acting like only his standard is good. He calls one person's high rating straight up mad. Another he responds to with, looks like you're confused. Or the one where he says, fix your brain, fix your eyes, you may have glaucoma. And the classic, your effing scale of rating a woman is completely off. And the one that said the high score effed up the graph. Mykkie definitely insists on only his standard. But it gets worse. Mykkie tries to make it only about a woman's face with the excuse that you are attracted by a woman's looks first. And he's really insistent that nothing else be considered. Isn't that treating other standards as not good? Even people who include the rest of the body are told they can't do that. Yet last time I checked, you'll usually see at least part of the body when you see the face. Why on earth would an intelligent person rule out everything except the face? But Mykkie does. There are other things you can tell before actually meeting a woman. You can often quickly see how she moves, which can be attractive in itself, how she treats others, and a host of other little things that can matter a lot. But Mykkie doesn't allow any different standard. I think I can find more examples. In a comment on Mykkie's community page about his poll, a man named Martin wrote, rating a person, be it Filipina P or any other person, by face only without considering the personality is shallow. P is not taking part in a beauty contest. That's why I won't participate in your social experiment, and I will not click on any rating. Sounds sensible to me, but note Mykkie's childish response. In these examples, I spelled the words on screen the way Mykkie did, but I'll pronounce them the way he probably intended.
Well, then you're not a man, because men are visual. And it's funny because you do rate by looks only, and if you deny that, then you are just lying. Wow, an emotional man.
Amazing. One way we can tell Mykkie is a fool is he tends to go way overboard. Besides a childish comment about Martin not being a man, Mykkie claims Martin does rate by looks only. Mykkie can't even consider that men can do anything else, because he can't give any value to any other standard. Kind of narcissistic. And declares if Martin denies it, he's lying. That's pathetic even for Mykkie. It is Mykkie that sounds emotional to me. It certainly is revealing. Anyone who thinks men are only visual is weird. And remember, for Mykkie, it is only the face. Let me throw in a couple other crazy things Mykkie makes an issue about. He says this about P.
Is she really the ideal Filipina? Is that the normal Filipina look, which is not?
That's nuts. First, I sure wouldn't take Mykkie's word for who is the ideal Filipina, and who the heck cares what is the normal Filipina look. Somehow I can't see any sane man going to the Philippines, finding a woman he thinks is attractive, but when someone comes up to him and says, "Your girlfriend doesn't have the normal Filipina look," he decides he better find one who does. Frankly, that sounds more like the way many women think. That is, if they like the guy they're dating, but her girlfriends say they don't care for him, there is a good chance she'll decide she doesn't care for him much either. There are a lot of different looks in the Philippines, and Mykkie's preferences don't matter to anyone except Mykkie. It's like when Mykkie makes comments about how Filipino guys prefer lighter skin, so women like P are less desirable because of her morena skin tone. Why on earth would Western men, who tend to prefer the tan skin look, care at all about the preferences of Filipino guys? When I took issue with Mykkie's attacks on those who disagree with his ratings, I referred to people like him by saying, "But they attack those they differ with." Mykkie responded with,
I attacked? No.
"But you saw how Mykkie just declared they were wrong, straight up mad, delusional, and saying they had vision problems, even saying a person with a different standard was lying." I could include more, but I'm pretty sure that this has shown that Mykkie does insist on only his standard being good, which is what I said. Thanks for watching, and don't let the trolls stop you from speaking out.